guys, so today I'm going to be covering what I think is a really interesting topic. Essentially, it's how chords and scales are related, and I'm going to explain why you can use different scales over a single chord and it still sounds good. So essentially what I'm going to show you in this video is that chords and scales are actually the same thing. Chords are scales and scales are chords. Now, I'm not talking about the diatonic function, that is, which chords belong to a specific key, like major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Rather, I'm going to show you how a specific chord is a specific scale, or more accurately, how a fully extended chord is its own diatonic scale. Now, if that didn't make sense, then stay with me because I'm going to go through a whole heap of examples to essentially show what I mean. But first, I'm going to go through a really quick recap about what a chord is, and then I'm going to explain what a fully extended chord is. So essentially, in Western music, a chord is just a collection of notes that is built in thirds. So starting from the C, if we go up a third, we get to the E, go up another third, we get to the G. So that's a triad, a C triad. So there's no reason you can stop there, and generally in jazz you sort of keep going up. So then you can go up another third to the seventh, or the B, go up another third to the ninth, the D, go up another third to the F, which is the 11th, and go up another third to the 13th, which is the A. Now that's a fully extended chord because the chord is extended to its maximum amount. If you go up another third from the A, you get back to the C, which is sort of your root note, so you just start repeating. So when I say fully extended chord, I mean that the chord is extended all the way up to the 13th. So let's start with that chord that I just played. That was a C major 13, so the notes were C, E, G, B, D, F, A. The thing that makes it a major 13 or a major 7 chord is the fact that it's got the major 3rd and the major 7th. Now that chord is in the key of C major. And why is it in the key of C major? Well, because it uses every single note from the scale C major. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Right, the C major 13 is the C major scale just built up in thirds. And so that's what I mean by a fully extended chord is its own diatonic scale or its own diatonic key. Now let's take another example. Let's use a C13 chord, which is a dominant 7 chord, which means it has the major 3rd and the flat 7. Now the notes in a C13 chord are C, E, G, B flat, D, F, A. Now, what scale has all white notes except for one B flat? Or, and to put that another way, what scale has the notes F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E? Now, I kind of gave it away because I started from the root note, but the scale is, of course, F major. And so the reason C7 or C13 is in the key of F major is because it uses every single note in the F major scale. Now let's take another example. Let's do a C minor 13. So that means it's got the flat 7 and the flat 3rd. So the notes would be C, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A. Now again, what scale has two flats, that being the B flat and the E flat? Or, again, to put another way, what scale has the notes B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A? And again, the answer is B flat major. Or, from the point of view of the C, it's a C Dorian scale. So again, the C minor 13 chord uses every single note from the B flat major scale. And that means the C minor 13 chord is in the key of B flat major. Right? It makes sense. Because it uses every single note from the B flat major, it's obviously in the key of B flat major. Alright, let's take another example. Let's do a C minor 7 flat 13. So that's C, E flat, G, B flat, D, F, A flat. Now, what key has 3 flats? The B flat, the E flat, and the A flat. The answer is, of course, E flat major, or C Aeolian mode, also known as C natural minor. Right, so the chord C minor 7 flat 13 is in the key of E flat major or C natural minor because it uses every single note from the E flat major scale. Alright, let's take another example. Let's do a C minor 7 flat 9 flat 13. So we've got the C minor 7 again, the C, E flat, G, B flat. The flat 9 is the D flat, F, and then the A flat. Now, what scale has 4 flats, specifically those 4 flats? The answer is A flat major. And again, that means that that chord is in the key of A flat major, and it uses every single note from the scale A flat major. Or again, that's C Phrygian mode. Again, let's move that even further. Let's do a C minor 7 flat 5 flat 9 flat 13 chord. So C minor 7 flat 5 minor 7 flat 9 flat 13. Right, so that ridiculously complex chord is in the key of D flat major because it has all the notes in the scale of D flat major. And from the point of view of the C, that's called C Locrian mode. Now let's do something different. Let's do a C major 13 sharp 11, which means we've got the C major, the 9, the sharp 11, and then the 13. Now, what scale has all white notes except for one F sharp? Obviously the answer is G major. So that means that C major 13 sharp 11 is in the key of G major, which is also known from the point of view of the C as C Lydian mode. Right, so you're getting the general idea here. If you take a fully extended chord, so a chord that goes all the way up to the 13, then you can look at every single note in that chord, and more or less that will tell you what scale it's in. It doesn't matter what sort of flats or sharps or alterations to the chord there are. Like the sharp 11 just puts you in a different key, in this case the G major. So as I said at the beginning, a fully extended chord is its own diatonic scale. That uses every single note. The C major 13 sharp 11 uses every single note in the G major scale, therefore it's in the key of G major. Now this works with absolutely any fully extended chord. Doesn't matter what alterations you put in, whether it like flat 13s, sharp 11s, sharp 9s, flat 9s, flat 5s or sharp 5s. Doesn't matter what you do, you can work out some kind of scale. Right, so all the chords I just gave you were from the major modes, that is the Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, and so on. But any unique scale has its own modes, or you can create modes from any scale. I'll take you through another example, but I'll make a few other videos about sort of commonly used scales and their associated modes, sort of to explain it in a bit more depth. But just quickly, I'm going to take you through a similar exercise, but using the C melodic minor. Now, hopefully you know that there are essentially lots of different types of minors. There's the C natural minor, there's the C harmonic minor, and then there's the C melodic minor, which has the natural 6 and 7. And so we're essentially going to do something similar to what we did with the major modes, but now we're going to create modes from the point of view of the melodic minor. So if we take a C minor major 13 chord, so the notes there are C, the flat and third, E flat, G, B, D, F, A. That uses every single note in the C melodic minor scale. That means that that chord is in the key of C melodic minor. Right, let's move to the next one. Let's play a C minor 13 flat 9. So the C minor 7, the flat 9, and then the other two, the 11 and the 13. Now that's got B flat, D flat, and E flat. And that's in the key of B melodic minor, because that uses every single note from the B melodic minor. Again, let's move to the next one. Let's play a C major 13, sharp 5, sharp 11. So C major, sharp 5, sharp 11. Now, what scale has both a G sharp and an F sharp? The answer is A melodic minor. So that means that a C major 13, sharp 5, sharp 11, because it uses, again, every single note in the A melodic minor scale, is in the key of A melodic minor. Or, again, the relative mode is called a C Lydian augmented. Let's take another one, a C13 sharp 11. So it's a dominant chord, so we've got the flat 7th and the sharp 11. Now, what key has a B flat and an F sharp? The answer is G melodic minor. Right, and from the point of view of the C, that's called the C Lydian dominant mode. So again, that chord is in the key of G melodic minor, or C Lydian dominant. Let's take a C7 flat 13. So we've got the B flat and the A flat now. That's in the key of F melodic minor for the same reason. Now let's take a C minor 7 flat 5 flat 13. C minor 7 flat 5 flat 13. So it's got the E flat, G flat, B flat and A flat. That's in the key of E flat melodic minor for the same reason. Now let's take another chord, a C7 flat 5 flat 9 sharp 9 flat 13, also known as a C7 alternate chord. So that'll be a C7 flat 5 flat 9 sharp 9 flat 13. Now that's a really weird chord because it's got the flat 9 and the sharp 9 in there. And actually the E that I'm playing down here, from the point of view of the D melodic minor, which is the scale that we're in, that's actually a F flat. So we're playing C, F flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, E flat, and A flat. And as I just mentioned, that's in the key of D flat melodic minor. So hopefully what you've seen from that is that you can take any fully extended chord up to the 13th with any kind of alteration at all. That is, you can alter any of the notes other than the root note, the C, because if you alter that, it's no longer a C chord, it becomes like a C sharp chord or something if you alter it. And you can figure out some kind of related key or scale that you can, that's effectively the diatonic scale that you can use over the top. Now I've just gone through the major and the melodic minor modes, but there are literally hundreds of combinations and permutations of all the different flats and sharps that you can move around with all the different notes, altering each one of them in a different way. For example, if we were to play C, E flat, G, B, D, F, A flat, that would be a C minor major 7 flat 13, right? And that uses all the notes from the C harmonic minor scale. So the E flat, the A flat, and the B natural. So that chord there is in the key of C harmonic minor. Now let's pick another chord with just completely random alterations. Let's do C, E, G flat, B flat, D flat, F sharp, A flat. So that's a C7 chord, or a dominant chord, because it's got the major 3rd and the flat 7. So we've got a C7, sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13. So we need a scale that has a C, E, G sharp, B flat, D flat, F sharp, and A flat. Now that scale might not have a name yet, but in theory at least, that chord that I just played is in that unnamed mysterious scale. Now, it could be some kind of weird scale. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know what scale that is, please leave a comment in the description. I'd be very interested to know. But you get the general idea. You just take a fully extended chord, make any kind of alterations you want, and you come up with some kind of scale that that chord is in even if it's not a scale that has a name or has been invented yet. In fact, you can probably feel free to invent your own scale using this method. Now, I said at the beginning that I would explain why you can use different scales over the same chord. And the reason is that chords that are not fully extended, that don't go all the way up to the 13, are a little bit ambiguous. For example, if I play the C major 7, that's got the C, E, G, B, just based on the scales that I went through in this video, let alone all the other ones you can create, both the C major and the G major fit. It depends on what happens with the 11. If you have a natural 11, it's in the key of C major. If you have a sharp 11, it's in the key of G major. But because we're just playing the C major 7 and we're not playing any extensions up here, we don't know what key it technically is in. And to figure out what key it's in, you need to look at the chords on either side of the C major 7. That is, chords are relative. The key that they're in depends on the preceding and the subsequent chord. For example, if the C major 7 goes up to a D minor 7, that's got the F natural, we can relatively safely assume that we're in the key of C major. If, on the other hand, the C major 7 goes up to a D7, so it's got the F sharp, we can relatively comfortably assume that we're in the key of G major. Or, for example, let's say we have the chord C minor 7, again with no extensions. Now, based on only the scales that I covered in this video, that could be in the key of B flat major, E flat major, A flat major, or B flat melodic minor. You just don't know without looking at the chords on either side and looking at sort of the extensions that can get added in. Similarly, if we look at a C7 chord, that could be in the key of F major, G melodic minor, F melodic minor. All of those have the basic sort of C, E, G, B flat, and then the key that that chord is actually in depends on the extensions, the 9, 11, and 13, which we're not playing. Or again, you have to look at the chords on either side of that chord and the chord that the whole progression sort of ends on to figure out what key you're actually in. Cool, so that was more or less what I wanted to cover here. I hope you found that interesting, because I certainly did when I first learnt this or found this out. So yeah, in summary, essentially, if you have a fully extended chord that goes all the way up to the 13th, you can figure out exactly what scale it's in by just looking at the flats and sharps, and that'll tell you the diatonic scale or key that you're in. Cool, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to leave any comments or questions if you need any clarification or elaboration. See you guys.